There we go. About time.
The force will be with you, always.
Bring this down a little bit more. Hey Ryan. Boom. Just trying to get everything in camera shot here. Try a game of Star Wars app. The guys can see it okay. I think you can kind of see it okay. Got my yoke over here, so we'll give it a shot.
With Sam standing by. Stay in attack formation. I'm going in.
Hope you guys can see that okay.
How did you increase the power?
I'm really doing bad.
Use the force, Luke.
Well, I am in trouble, Luke.
Luke, trust me.
Oh! Oh, hit the shields.
Remember,
You want to look at Tron? We can see Tron as well. Gotta go over a little bit this way, a little bit more maybe. See if that gets in a little bit more. Getting a little static on the Star Wars here. Maybe we have the volume up too high. We'll have to let it sit for right now, I guess. Hi, everybody. Well, the trigger fingers are doing pretty good on here, I think. I'll try it again.
with Sam standing by.
The yoke's working pretty well. I got good left and right on here. Up and down. I'll start it easy this time, maybe. I'm really out of practice. So let's try this again. Going in.
And make the block that I can do it. Luke, trust me.
definitely practice. TL Computers, how you doing, bud? Thanks for joining. Hi, Ryan, Jet Set, and Calvin. Oh! Going in. Glen 5 is going in. Doing good so far. How's everyone doing tonight? Got a little Star Wars going on. We'll choose some Tron in a second. See if I get another level in here. Want to try a little Tron over here. Let's see if we get a little better angle. Maybe I'm going to lower the lights a little bit. See if that helps too. Yeah, it's a little bit better. I'm not quite sure. Let's see how we got. How's everyone doing here? Hey, Grim. How you doing? Is this an arcade in the past? Well, a little bit. Got the Star Wars unit here. This was an Asteroids from Arcade 1-Up. That converted. It got my prototype here of the yoke. The testing's going pretty well. But I think I'll try a little Tron as well over here. I gotta put some credits in. Throw in some credits here. Let's see, is it this one? Got some credits in. And so you guys can see me over here. Hopefully I'm not blocking the view. But we'll try it. And let's try over here. Let's see what we got over here. Ah, yes. Use a little bit of the spinner. Aces. Yes, these were 1-Up machines. These are both Asteroids machines at one point. And now it is a Tron and a Star Wars arcade. In we go. Yep, these are all 1-Up machines. Got a bunch of them over here. I'm going to come back here for a second. Go down to the last one. The tank. Doing the tanks. Got to tank it on. too shabby. Oh! Let's try that one again. Dang. Okay, we'll come back to light cycles. Hey Mario, how you doing? It's a little dim. It might be the webcam I have on here, to be honest. Hopefully you can hear everything okay. Ah! Oh! Now I gotta try Tron one more time. What do you guys think? Hey, Kyoden, how's it going, buddy? Yes, I took the road trip to the road untaken. I'm gonna try this one more time. Oh no! Dang, these tanks are good. Alright, come on, come on. Alright, gotta try his light cycles again. Oh man! Not doing so good. I meant to ask you, can you dim the brightness on the stick? No, right now the stick's color right now, that's the brightness that's on there. You can put in a potentiometer, and maybe we'll come up with something really inexpensive, like $1 or $2, to let you adjust it. But it probably looks brighter there with the camera than here. It's not distractingly bright. It's actually a brightness that you kind of want from the joystick. What else we got going on over here? Tron's your favorite game all the time? See if we get this thing down a little bit better so you can kind of see it a little bit more. I'm going to try Tron one more time. Then I'm going to go back to some Star Wars, I think. So we'll go back over here and let's go into it. I always love the light cycle stage. Oh. Let's try that again. That worked out a little bit better that time. Let's see what we got going on over here. One more down. If you guys have any questions here, what's going on here? Let's see. Well, the Tron machine works very well. This was an Asteroids unit from Arcade 1-Up. I got the artwork from Tyler Goodman at Arcade Graphics. The control panel here, I designed, and Do-It-Yourself Retro Arcade made a beautiful, beautiful control panel out of it. I have my spinner, trackball, and Tron joystick in here, obviously. But a lot of people ask me about why so many buttons I put on here. I tried to make this not only Tron, but to have it kind of do everything. So I have the spinner here for Tempest. You have your Super Zapper and your shots, so you can play that over here. Your trackball for, say, Missile Command. You can have either 3 buttons here or 3 buttons here, depending if you're righty or lefty. With your joystick, you can use these as regular fire buttons or these as fire buttons. So I tried to make the control panel pretty much do anything you want for any game that you want to play. You can also play discs of Tron, and I'm going to escape out of here, and let's see if we can go into some discs of Tron. Nope, I don't want to do that. Gotta get out of here now this way. Need the old keyboard. Bloop. There we go. And we want to get out of here, which is not this key. Bloop. There we go. So let's go to Discs of Tron, which I gotta find in here, in here somewhere. Discs of Tron. All right, here we go. Let's try some Discs of Tron. So with Discs of Tron, you normally would have a secondary button up here, but I think I set it up to one of these buttons. I figured, which one did I press? Oh, must have been this button right here. So let's try it out. Guess we'll find out soon enough. So you could mod this to put a button up here, but I'm using my orange button here for my shield. This one, which button's my shield? Well, let's do this for right now anyway. So it plays pretty well. As he knocks me off my grid. I'm gonna get you, Stark. I'm getting you. I always hate that center grid. Guess not that time. I guess Stark got out in that one. Not too shabby. See if anybody has any questions over here. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I have a lot of contacts with Arcade 1-Up going on right now, and we have some communications going back and forth. Let's see, what do we have here? Yeah, Disc of Tron. Yeah, it's a again, this is an Asteroids cabinet that was converted to Tron. The artwork is Tyler Goodman at Arcade Graphics. The control panel was Duty Retro Arcade, but the Tron joystick I sell only has one button on it. So what I did was I have my spinner and my one button, but I set up another button here to act as my shield. So you could press up here, or I can just hit it down here as well. It works well enough. The game is pretty fun. Let's see, what do we got going here? Do I consider my venture into arcade controls a success? Well, I gotta say right here, I'm not really doing it, as I'm folding over my stuff in here, I'm not really doing it for success per se. I'm really doing it to help out the community and also help out the manufacturers. When the Asteroids had come out from Arcade 1-Up, the spinner on there was not very good, and a lot of people obviously complained about it, and I didn't want people not playing the Asteroids or Tempest. Those are two really, really good games. I love Tempest, but the spinner that they had wasn't very good, so my goal was just to get people the proper controls. And to be honest, I haven't made a dime on the spinners, the trackballs, the Tron stick. Basically, the money from the spinner went to help fund the trackball, and then the spinner and the trackball went to fund the Tron joystick, and then those three are going to help try and fund the Star Wars yoke. So, do I feel it's a success? I think people have been very happy with it. The spinner, I think, has been phenomenal. Everyone seems to like that. The trackball is probably not as big a success. I think also partially because the trackball sensitivity in the Arcade 1-Up wasn't very sensitive to begin with. So when you went from the Arcade 1-Up's trackball to mine, it felt overly sensitive, and it is sensitive because it's taking a lot of inputs to go into the game. But you can now 3D print other options in there to try and make it less sensitive. But I've been getting a lot of feedback from people saying, listen, after a week of using your trackball, I changed my mind, I like it. So that's been good. The Tron joystick itself is just getting out there now. I haven't seen any feedback on that yet. I'm hoping to get good feedback on it. And the community, that's the biggest thing. I just really want to help the community as far as the controls go. So is it a success? I'm going to say yes. It's been a very big success, but it has been an absolute lot of work. Managing, I'm raising my son, working a regular job, YouTube channel, the forums, the controls, talking to manufacturers, talking to other YouTubers. It's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm enjoying it. Thank you, Mr. Dancing Bozo Calvin Jr. I really appreciate that. I mean, I love hearing people tell me that their stuff that they've gotten has been high quality and they're enjoying it, and it makes their experience with their gaming system a lot better. And I want to also give a shout out to Wagner from Wagner's Tech Talk, who made this really cool. Hold on one second. I'll come back in a second here. This thing's pretty neat too. Wagner's 3D printed case for the spinner, trackball, and other items. This thing's really neat. If you have a 3D printer, this thing's really cool. And you can modify it, which I really like. So big shout out to Wagner on this one. And I also want to just shout out to my other friends on YouTube. They're all a great bunch of guys out there. What do we have right here? You have the 12-in-1 cabinet. Awesome. I'm glad. It's a good unit. I like how they offered the additional games in there. It's nice having the spinner and the trackball on one machine. I think it's a good value. It's definitely a good value. Yeah, the Star Wars yoke. I'm going to come down here in case some people just joining. I'm going to try another game of Star Wars over here. So this is it right here. Now this thing is weighing in right now at about actually almost 9 pounds. It is metal, and it feels pretty good. And I'm going to go again to the easy game because I'm an old man nowadays. I just want to make sure you guys can see this okay. So I'll bring it down a little bit more. I'm going to go over here and pull the trigger. And I'm having a little problem with the speaker. I think I may have blown the speaker. I put it too loud. But you want to hear the Star Wars song, you know? But it tracks, woo! It tracks very well. There's no moving parts. So there's no gears to break. Which is pretty much something that happens a lot in these Star Wars units, that the gears break. I trust you, I trust you.
Yahoo! You're on the clear, Chief.
Yeah, it works pretty well. It's good and solid, which is the most important thing. Woo! And I think I have you now, actually. I always hate this guy. Ah! Do I take a hit just to get you? I'm going to take a hit to get you.
Good God, I'm going in.
Run like chickens. Not too bad. I think the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is actually out now, Mr. Dancing Bozo Calvin Jr. Some people have been reporting it in New Jersey and California. So I think it is out there. Some people are saying also that the Arcade 1 of Star Wars may also be out there as well. It's gonna be tough. I got hit again. You live in North Carolina? Well, you can always check with the stores. They have been saying, though, it hasn't been showing up on BrickSeek, so you may have to actually go to the store itself. Let's see what we got over here. The Tiny Arcades. Hi, was it Tinderkill 91? trying to keep up with me on the Tiny Arcades. Yeah, they're pretty nice. Basic Fun. Actually, I'm uploading a new Basic Fun one tonight. The new Pac-Man number 14. I picked that up a couple days ago, so I'm gonna get that put up. Yeah, you may have to just go in the stores. You may have to even ask an employee if they have it in the back. It may not be put out yet. I think the release date was not for a couple of days yet, but you can always ask. I'm gonna try one more game of Star Wars here. I'm really trying to get a lot of testing on this yoke. We want to try and get it out relatively soon. Arkham Mods, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's what it's all about it for me, is just to make sure that the community is taken care of, to be honest. Let's go down over here, try Star Wars one more time.
Good question, bud.
I'm gonna try it on hard to begin with. I'm not gonna make it, but I'm gonna try hard.
I make the fuck that awesome
That's what she said. I have a chance here. Ah! Ah!
What you doing to increase the power?
Oh! I'm trusting you, Ben, but you gotta help me out a little bit. Oh boy. Ah! Yeah, baby. Oh, I'm dead. Ah, but I got my name in there. Woo! Nice, 5th place. That's the best I've done. Have a good night, Arkham Mods. Alright, I'm going to do one more game, I think, of Tron over here. Give him a little more love and attention. And this will be Tron Deadly Discs. Actually, we are working on a steering wheel and a light gun. So yes, we are looking at doing those. About time I got him, huh? I'm gonna try to turn the lights off here, see if you can see that screen a little bit better here. Let's kill the lights. Oh. And let's try this again. Do, 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 do. Took him out finally. Oh, he took me out there. Let's turn the light back on. So who do we have joining us right now? Mad Dog McCree and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yes, I have. And we are going to be working on, like I said, a Lycon that should work with anything, whether it be a CRT or a modern television. And so I'm not sure when that'll be out, but we are working on it. Arcade USA! Hey, Willie! How's it going, my friend? What else we got going here? Red 5 was standing by. Red 5 did pretty good. He got in 5th place, so I'm pretty happy with that. Well, thank you very much. Was it Tinderkill 91? Sorry, my eyes are old like anything else. Thank you very much. Yeah, I have a fairly good collection of stuff here. I'll probably do a video on that. Actually, I'm waiting for my friend Amiga Bill. He's not too far from me. He lives maybe half hour away, and I've been saving doing a walkthrough of my gaming room till he comes over. He's basically a professional cameraman, so he would do a much better job than I would showing everything off. And I'll even take everything out of plastic for him. Hope everyone had a good Saturday. It's Eastern time over here, so it's about 9:30. And just basically was doing just testing on that Star Wars yoke, which is the big thing right now. And also something else I have to work on as well is I got this little Game Boy from Renegade Labs. So I gotta get this little guy put together soon. I was gonna try and do it today, but the yard work took over a little bit more time than I thought. But I can't wait to put this together. This is it's an actual Game Boy case, and you use a Raspberry Pi, either a 0 or an A+, I believe. And the board is already done. So I'm dying to get started on this. It looks really, really nice. Renegade Labs, they do a lot of nice work. It's a good guy over there as well. So this is something else I got to do a video on very, very soon. I was hoping to get started today, just didn't happen. Maybe I should start wearing hats. What do you guys think? Think I should start wearing, I know I'm getting a little bit on the bald side over there. If I should start wearing some retro hats like that. I don't know, maybe I should start doing this. But this little guy I really like. This I just did the review on here. And it's this Tiny Arcade pinball. And I really like this little thing. This thing is pretty neat. And this is called, like I said, Boardwalk Tiny Arcades. And I really do like it. It's solid. And I do wish they come out with other games, maybe like, I don't know, Elvira or something along those lines. There's an old pinball machine that I remembered as a kid. I was big into Space Invaders at the time, and they actually had a Space Invaders pinball, and I would love to get one of those. Now my friend Dwayne Ringo gave me pretty much a pinball machine. It's about 7-8 inches long, and I really I've had a hard time. Pin maim is such a pain to do, and I'm still having some issues with it, but it's a nice pinball machine, and I'll see if I can pull it out here for a quick second. I know my buddy Willie has one as well. So Dwayne gave me basically the parts, and I put the guts in it. And I had the Black Knight running on this, but I want to have other games running on it as well. And I just haven't had I don't want to say I had the time, because I've been trying for a while, but the virtual pinball software is just such a nightmare to use. So it's not fully functional yet. But big shout out to Dwayne Ringo, who actually has his own Facebook group on Facebook. It's MAME Arcade and More, and he's built some really nice things. I know Willie over at Arcade USA can definitely talk about stuff that his friend Dwayne, he actually known him I guess since college. If they did Medieval Madness, yeah, that would be pretty cool. That would be freaking cool, Billy. You want to see the inside of the yoke? Not just yet. All I can tell you about it is that it doesn't have any gears in it. Has no parts that'll wear out. It's very smooth. There's no gears whatsoever. It really shouldn't break, period. It is made out of metal, iron at this point. We may change it to something else because it is pretty heavy. If it fell on someone from a few feet, it'd probably kill them. We don't want that. But at some point, especially once we start getting a couple out there, I'm sure someone will open up and do a video on it. But again, my partner does work and is part of a large arcade manufacturer out in this part of the world. And so the stuff he's building is all high quality. Again, the spinner and the trackball is just a little precedent of the stuff that he's able to build. And again, we're keeping the prices absolutely as low as possible, because not that we're trying to make money on them, because we're not, but we want people to have a good gaming experience. And you know, a lot of the companies, I want to say almost like, you know, the earlier like Basic Fun stuff and the early stuff from My Arcade, you know, they were just kind of thrown out there, and people bought them just because it was pretty cool. But we want more. I mean, these old games, Pac-Man, Space Invaders, Donkey Kong, Galaxian, Miss Pac-Man, Mappy, that's my generation. I mean, people do play it today, but that's really from I'm, you know, 50 years old. That's from my generation. So we'll buy the other things sometimes if you're like me, but it's not much more money, honestly, to build something that will really take off. Sure, they can sell maybe 100,000, you know, make it crappy and sell 100,000, but you could sell 1 million if you spent a little more money now, and the word gets out that you build something of good quality. That builds up your reputation. I mean, there's some companies right now that definitely have an issue with their reputation, and they're trying to work around it, but it's better to have a good product to begin with, let the product speak for itself. And that's really what these companies need to do. And I've been trying my hardest to talk to the manufacturers, to talk through the president of these companies or any one of these companies who will listen, because I want them to succeed, but I also want us to have good stuff. Again, these machines like Tron, Star Wars, Galaga, Asteroids, Space Invaders, Pac-Man, I mean, I grew up on those. I've blown so much allowance money, I can't even tell you. I could have probably bought the machines 50 times over. But the companies, they just think they could sometimes throw something out there, and that's kind of what did Atari in to a point. They said, you know, just put anything out there and it's going to sell. And it did for a while, until people realized the stuff you're selling is not very good. And that kind of brought the industry down at that point. And I do not want to see these companies who are starting to do these cool type of projects disappear. Because then it's going to be back to us simply doing it on our own again. And again, I have no problem doing that. I mean, I enjoy building these little things, but I'm not the best with wood. I want to get that way, but the whole point is I want these companies to succeed, like Arcade 1-Up, Replicade, Basic Fun, Super Impulse, even at games. I mean, they're trying to do stuff now with their new stuff, and there's obviously some controversy again going on with it, but I guess we have to wait and see what happens with that. It's still very early. We're hearing on two sides of the coin with both this Miss Pac-Man thing and lawsuits. We'll have to wait and see. I'm more of, I don't report on that kind of stuff. The hat looks weird in the camera. I'm not sure which way, if I'm going this way or that way. It doesn't matter. But the point is, I'm going to do it this way. There we go. Boom. I think it looks a little better like that. No, it doesn't. I just really want these companies to succeed, because as it does, our industry is going to grow, and that's a good thing for us all. I'm just going to put this down so I don't drop it somewhere. I mean, right now, we're having a pretty good resurgence of these classic games, classic machines, and companies realizing there's a market for us. But if they don't succeed now, you know, it's all back to, you know, nothing. And I definitely don't want that. I want these companies to make it out there and succeed. Oh, what is it? CRSTFR? I don't know how to pronounce that. You got your Tron joystick and you love it. Awesome. I'm not sure. Have you actually tried it? And I thank you. I thank you for the nice comment. Thank you so much. Do I have another one here in the box? I don't know if I do. Look around here for a second. I have so much stuff in this room, I don't even know what I got sometimes. Where did I put it? Where is it? Oh, it might be in the other room. Hold on a second. Yeah, yes. So this is what you would get, you know, in the box. And if you open this little guy up right here, these boxes never want to open. I mean, everything's packed really, really nice in there. You get your joystick that lights up. You have your joystick itself. You get the 4 and 8-way direction lock if you need it, and the controller board for it. So everything's included in the price on this little guy, and I'm really proud of it. Again, these things are not cheap. Some people don't realize how much money has to go into this. It's surprising how much it costs to have plastic molded. You can spend $15,000 to $30,000 just to make a mold for these things. So there's been a lot of money spent on this Tron joystick. The spinner wasn't too much. That was metal, but also the trackball was a lot of money, just because of the plastic molding that was required. And it just amazes me how much that costs. I mean, you could 3D print them, but that's not going to be something that's going to last long enough, so we don't want to do it that way. Willie's making a drinking game out of it? Well, I could do the same thing. Maybe we can call Drunken Master Paul and get on his Twitch feed one day, Willie. Bottoms up. So I think I'm going to do one more game of, say we do Star Wars. I'm nostalgic. Let's see, for some of these, I do. Yes, I do like the 5200. Very, very true. It was definitely one of the machines, again, that got the short end of the stick. The 5200 was an extremely powerful machine. Actually, Atari back then did build some powerful stuff. The 5200, the 400, the 800, very powerful machines, way ahead of their time. And if you didn't know this, they are, believe it or not, they are the father of the Amiga. Jay Minter, who designed the chipset for the originally for the game system, which would become the 5200, first got put in the 4 and 800 because computers were coming out, and then went back to the 5200. And then he actually left Atari because they wouldn't let him build a 16-bit machine, and he made the Amiga. And then that's a whole nother ball of wax to talk about. But the chipsets in those machines were phenomenal. And the 5200 would have done phenomenal, but again, it was the upper management who wasn't listening, or if someone like me was there, knocking the guys in the head about their controller. If that controller wasn't faulty, the 5200 and the gaming industry of that era probably would have been quite different. Unfortunately, they didn't listen to their own engineers. They came out with a joystick that was very, very faulty and corroded very easy. It is fixable. Actually, all of mine I've repaired myself with just using some aluminum tape, and because the carbon dots fail as well. But 5200 is a really fun machine. And again, if you have the 4 and 800, it's basically the same machine. I do wish, though, that they came out with just a digital joystick for some of the games. That's what I loved about the 2600, was the 2600 had controllers for the game. You had, combat games, you had a joystick. You had breakout type games, or Kaboom, you had a paddle. You had a driving game, one game. You had the Indy 500 controller. You had a keyboard controller for computer games, and then you had the Star Readers controller. You had the learning controller, the trackballs. That was great about the early Atari. Now you look at the NES, and they came out with Arkanoid, and you could get a spinner for it, but for the most part, you played with a controller. And something happened after that first gaming crash, where controllers took a back seat, and that's your interface. I mean, I take up a hat also to Coleco with the ColecoVision. They had their controller, they had a steering wheel controller, they had the trackball controller, the super action controller. And that is a good thing. So the new machine is not as big a deal now, because they do have analog and digital on their machines, or they have a motion controller on there now. So it's a little bit different. But definitely, after like the ColecoVision, you had the NES, the Sega Genesis, the TurboGrafx 16, machines along those lines, they just had regular D-pads, and I wish they had made some additional controllers that just never came out. Wired Up Retro, my friend, how you doing? Of course I like the 5200. I mean, how do I not? But my problem is I like too many things. There's really nothing I don't like, which is bad for my wallet, unfortunately, because collecting things now, like I have been trying to do a video for the longest time on my Pioneer Laser Active. I've had that for a couple of years now, and I got just a Sega pack for it. And the Laser Active, if you don't know, it's basically a laser disc machine that took packs. You could put a Sega pack for Sega Genesis, a pack for TurboGrafx-16, a pack for karaoke, and I don't want to spend $600 to $1,000 for the PC Engine pack. It's just crazy. I've been trying to get my hands on an NTEX Adventure Vision for, well, like 20 years. And every time I try and get one, it's almost like my 5200 flashback trying to get a trackball. And my good friend kept getting my trackball. Matthew Bartlett, he's down in, I think he's in Pennsylvania. Every time I try and bid on one on eBay, he outbids me every time. He's got like 10 or 12 of these suckers. So I think for right now, I'm just going to live with emulation when it comes to the NTEX Adventure Vision. But that's definitely one of my holy grails that I definitely would like to try and get my hands on. We know Willie at Arcade USA, yes, does love the 5200 as well. There's no question about that. I'm trying to think of what my favorite machine is. What I play the most. I probably have to say, just as a kid, the 2600 was the machine I always played. And that was followed, of course, by, back then, the ColecoVision. At that time, when the 5200 had come out, the ColecoVision came out, and I was kind of eyeing they were advertising as the Super Expansion Pack, which ended up becoming the Atom. But I really liked that idea about it. And I'm going to say my biggest regret back then was I did have an Intellivision, and I had the original Intellivision keyboard component. And if you don't know what that is, it was basically a huge computer case that you dropped your Intellivision Model 1 into, and had a cassette drive built into it. And it was kind of similar to the Atom, where the tape drive was smart. It could load programs as it was displaying graphics on the screen. And I sold it as a kid for a motorcycle. And now it's probably worth like $20,000. You know, story of my life. Although I probably wouldn't have sold it now, but back then I did, and that's probably my biggest gaming regret, next to not buying an NTEX Adventure Vision from KB Toys for $20 for all games, or a Vectrex. I do have a Vectrex, but I was down in the city when I was probably 14, and there was a store that had a Vectrex for all the games, and the Imager, and the Light Pen. It was like $99. It was just the whole thing. I had no idea how I was going to get it home, so I didn't. I didn't buy it. One of those big regrets that you have. Let's see. Can I make a spinner mod? You know what? That is something. I'm actually, if we're going to talk about the 5200, I have a lot of my 5200 friends here. I've been working on for a while a replacement, I don't want to say replacement joystick per se, because there's a couple of those out there, but I'm trying to find an improvement to the Mylar, or a replacement to the Mylar in there, so you can basically drop this in and keep your original 5200 controller as it was. So that's kind of what I really like to do for the 5200 community, is kind of find a more inexpensive way than the gold Rev flex boards, which they probably won't fail, but they're a little expensive. I want to try and find something a little bit cheaper, maybe improve it a little bit, get a better tactile feedback on them. But as my co-hosts on the Atari 5200 podcast knows, I've been working on this for probably about a year on and off, and it's making a little progress. But right now with the Arcade 1-Up stuff and the joysticks and stuff making for that's kind of taking priority right now. Yeah, Vectrex rocks. I hope my friend Vectrex Rolly is doing well. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but the Vectrex was just like the ColecoVision was just a product of bad timing. It just came out in 1982, and the gaming crash was within the year, and it took them out. They were even talking about building a portable Vectrex and a color Vectrex. That would have been phenomenal. And to be honest, that Vectrex, even though it was black and white and only had vectors on there, it was a phenomenal piece of engineering. I love them. And if you're looking for stuff to do on that, you can also reach out to Obtanium Gaming. He makes some nice audio fixes and stuff like that for it. He's a good guy, and he's actually, you see my end credits, my 10-hour end credits at the end of every video that I do. Yeah, and that's another thing too. You get these new machines like Xboxes and PlayStations. They break within a year or two. My 2600 I have since 1978. I didn't get it at launch time. My cousin Nikki next door had the 2600 at launch pretty much. I had to wait till Christmas to get my Sears Video Arcade, and it still works to this day. It still does. And what's even better is the homebrew community. There are some homebrew games at 2600, like the AK Pac-Man, that would have, if it had come out back then, that guy would have been a multi-millionaire, because the Atari version of Pac-Man, I'm sorry, it sucked. It was horrible. I remember plopping it in the first time, looking at it and going, what the heck is this? It was bad. And with that being said, E.T. was not the worst game. For me, it would have been that Pac-Man. It was just a horrible game. Didn't like it. Right, the Buzz-Off kits. Nostalgic, yes. That's what Charles Tweedy does over at Obtanium Gaming. And I have 2 Vectrexes. One I'm keeping, and I always keep one thing stock, like my ColecoVision. I have one that's stock. And then my other Vectrex does have the Buzz-Off kit, and it's really easy to install. And the sound quality is more improved. And just like my ColecoVision, I have one stock, and the other one I got an F18A in there, the video enhancer board. And that's kind of what I do. I try to buy 2. One that mods, one stays this pristine, if you will. And usually the one I mod is I try and get them broken or not working well, get them repaired to bring them back to life, and then I dissect them and do something to them at that point. Yep, Sears. I mean, to be honest, I was always jealous of my cousin Nicky because he had an actual Atari. And I knew mine was an Atari, but it said Sears Telegames on it. But the longer I had it, and again, it was the Heavy Sixer. I have a couple of Atari 2600s. I do have my Heavy Sixer, and then I have the regular ones, including the Junior. But the Sears Telegames one, back then, I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now. It's a nice machine. And I really, now we're talking about that, I really miss the Sears Wish Book. Back then, we were kids. When I had that Sears Wish Book come out, I would come home from school. I memorized every single thing on every one of those pages. And of course, I wanted everything in there, especially if it was electronic, Vectrex. I remember telling my father back then I wanted a Vectrex. And he's like, why do you need that? You got an Atari. So I didn't get it. I had to wait almost 20 years before I got my first Vectrex. And I love it to death. Phoenix, yes, Phoenix also was a very good game, and I definitely played a lot. I'm going to date myself a little bit. I still like the original games. I had Target Fun for my Sears version, and my cousin had Combat. Of course, Space Invaders on the 2600. I actually didn't like originally. I mean, it was Space Invaders, I liked it, but I wanted it to look like the arcade Space Invaders, so I always hated it because of that. But as years have gone on, I really appreciated the 112 game variations that were on there, and it's amazing what work he did with that. But I also loved Adventure. I loved popping in Adventure. Once you beat it, it was easy to beat after the fact, but it was still like Star Wars when it first came out. Adventure was the first game of its type. It was something new. Those dragons, they were dragons. They look like ducks, but they were dragons, and that game I loved to death. The 2600, Kaboom, of course, Pong, Breakout, all classics on that machine. Activision made some really good stuff. Gyrush, I've never had Gyrush. Well, I have it now. I got a flash card for my Atari, but I never had it back then. But it is a good game. Yep, Nostalgic also has the same problem as me, although he doesn't have the same sickness I have. He did for a while, but he did thin out his collection a little bit. I have not. My collection has gotten to the point where literally it's a maze in this room, and I have a couple other rooms with stuff in it as well. And again, I'm going to wait for Amiga Bill. Hopefully seeing this video, we'll set up a date and time to have him come over and do a video of all the stuff I have here. I've been thinking about doing a retro unboxing. I actually have some boxes I have no idea what's in them. So I may just do some videos of unboxing what's in these boxes that I have no idea what's in them. That may come out soon as well. Laser, oh my god, Laser Blast! Yes! Oh my god, that was definitely one of my favorite games back then. Once you got in the groove, bang, 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 bang. I went on, I got my patch. I had my Activision Laser Blast patch. I think it's the only one I even got. But oh my god, that was a good game. It really was. Loved that game. I actually, Calvin Jr., I actually have a Sega Mini, and I haven't taken it out of the box yet. I'm a little annoyed. I mean, I remember, I shouldn't say annoyed, but I would love to get those attachments, the Sega CD attachment, the 32X. I'm hearing it's very limited. It was only sent to certain YouTubers, and I don't think they should do that. When they made the Mini, they have the expansion port come off. That should be something that's being sold as a kit to everybody. I think they will, but right now they're making it seem like it's not. But I think they missed the boat. I was going to do a whole video on this, but now I'm going to talk about it now, since you brought it up. They should not have just made them plastic. Now, the Sega Mini, they're selling for $80, right? They could have had a USB port on that docking station where it goes on the side. When you plugged in the Sega CD, you should have had an SD card in there with actual Sega CD ISOs on there and played some of them. They should have been functional. I would have paid another $80 for that attachment just for a couple extra Sega CD games on there. Same thing when you plugged in the 32X and the cartridges, there should be a USB port there. And it should have had some games on that 32X, so you play the Sega Mini games, you buy the Sega CD attachment, and now you got some Sega CD games. And then if you plugged in the 32X, it would unlock some 32X games on the Sega CD. So I think Sega missed the boat. Maybe, right? They can't really do it now because there's no expansion port on that connector. It's a dummy connector. But I really think they missed the boat, and they could have leapfrogged Nintendo with their minis by having something that was not only the Sega Mini, but a Sega CD Mini and a 32X Mini, and I think they missed the boat on that. But I'm still annoyed overall because I cannot get it, and I would love to get my hands on that and wire it up. Yep, Wired Up Retro. Yeah, we're having a good chat tonight. I want to do more streaming, and I'm probably going to start doing it. Just time. And I have some things planned with some other people with streaming as well. And it just, again, comes down to time. There's never enough of it. This thing called work takes up all my time. I don't get it. Space Ace, Dragon's Lair 1 and 2. Well, I will say that definitely Dragon's Lair is going to be coming out in a Replicade Mini. And Replicade, they make some really nice stuff. I like the Centipede very much. I like the trackball. I'm not going to lie, I was a little disappointed with the Tempest spinner. But I have some ideas on replacing the spinner in the Tempest Replicade to give it a proper smooth and spinning feel. But that's a project that's probably going to take a little while for that to go. Well, Willie, what? Your wife ran off with your Sega Mini? Willie, you got to buy two of things now. She took your Replicade Centipede and now she took your Sega Mini. You're going to have to get two of everything. My friend from the Great North, Steven. How you doing, my friend? Hope it's warmer up there. It's getting a little chilly here in New York. Not too bad, just a little bit. Doesn't Nintendo own the rights to all of Sega stuff? Well, you'd be surprised. Nintendo does have a lock hold on everything. I don't know if I should even say Nintendo if they're going to sue me for not giving them $5 for saying Nintendo. Nintendo. There's $15 I just sent to Nintendo. Now it's $20. Yeah, I'm not good for my channel either, Nostalgic. It's a sickness. Video game collecting can be an absolute sickness. And I know a few people, other YouTubers have talked about that, and it is. I will say, and I'm going to say it here now, at one point I will thin out the collection. I'm not sure when that'll be. Maybe when I'm dead. I don't know. But I think at some point it probably will happen, but it's definitely not right now. And right now I'm still in the hoarding gaming phase of things right now. So the more they release, the more I gotta find space. That's all. That's not a big deal. Yep, I actually have the Dragon's Lair on DVD as well, and I'm a Raspberry Pi and PC. They all play fairly well. I was always really disappointed with the Laser Active. Again, the Laser Active, the whole point of that machine was to play Laserdisc games, and to be honest, the Laserdisc games that are on that are horrible. They're terrible. And that was a perfect platform for Astron Belt, Dragon's Lair 1 and 2, all this type of games, Space Ace. That was a perfect platform for it, and not one of them was ever available for it, which I think was so stupid. They actually were planning on, believe it or not, Dragon's Lair and Space Ace for the Atari 7800. Yes, you heard me right. The 7800 from Atari, they did have a working prototype Laserdisc attachment, because at the time, Dragon's Lair and Laserdisc games were the new big thing. So Atari actually developed a Laserdisc player and had Dragon's Lair and Space Ace playing on it. But then the gaming crash kind of happened, and that kind of whole thing fell to the wayside, and it never happened. That's a shame, because the Atari 7800, again, like the Atari Lynx, and yes, even the Jaguar, they were good machines. They never really had a chance. I really think that the selling of its soul to Warner Communications just really killed Atari for what it would have been. Atari would have been the Nintendo of its era, and it was for a while. But once Warner had it, that was kind of it for them. Yep, I am a New Yorker, born and raised. My accent may not give me away. I'm a domesticated New Yorker. Yeah, Replicade actually has not met one of its deadlines, but usually for good reason. Replicade, they do try and make sure that when they release something, it's done right. Even the Centipede didn't make its deadline, but it was worth the wait. The Tempest missed its deadline. And I had a video I posted about that, about some latency in the controls, and I was talking with them, and they came out a couple of firmware updates, and even after they kind of fixed it, it still doesn't feel right. It looks great. I mean, it looks great. I still think the gameplay is not right where it should be, so at some point I'm going to tackle that. So the Street Fighter 2, I pre-ordered that one as well, so I'm waiting as well. But I'd rather them come out late and have it done proper, and make sure all the bugs are worked out of it. I'm definitely looking forward to the Asteroids. I'm a huge Asteroids fan. I'm definitely looking forward to that Missile Command. I'm a huge Missile Command fan. And of course, I'm looking forward to the Dragon's Lair. I'm a fan of looking at it. I suck at it. I cannot play Dragon's Lair without cheating in some way. I'm not good at it. I never got good at it, but it looks great. Although I will say that on the Wii, there was a game, Dragon's Lair, that I really did enjoy. But I suck at the Laserdisc version big time. Stellaris is a good game. Yes, it is. I did play that game as well. That was a good game. Oh, Captain Bob's going to fly in and go to the Prague game show, pick up some things. See, Scramble for the 5200, that should be pretty good. I gotta tell you, I was surprised that on my TI 994A, if you have the F18 enhancer board, which of course I have one that does, they had a really good version of Scramble for that. It's pretty much arcade perfect. And I'm even more blown away that there's actually a Dragon's Lair, which I think I have over here somewhere, a Dragon's Lair for the TI, and of course it's in a bag. But it's the actual Laserdisc game ported to the TI, and it's phenomenal. If you want to look at that, I have it on my channel. But again, I had to cheat to finish the game. But there's just something about Dragon's Lair. It's not an easy game, yet it's an easy game if you know what to do. If that makes any sense. So what else we got going on here? Thanks, Wired Up Retro. Yeah, I'm still blown away. You know what I'm more blown away at? I understand how they're able to get the graphics on there, either in 16 colors or the F18 enhanced. But I always thought the TI sound chip was horrible. Now, again, it was in the ColecoVision and some other things after the fact. But the sound I always got out of the machine was very tinny. And it's playing music, it's playing sound samples. The guy who, I think it was Lonely Lion, who developed it, says he didn't put anything special in for sound. It's using the normal TI sound chip. And I was more blown away with the audio I was hearing from the Dragon's Lair on the TI than the actual visuals. I'm still blown away how well it came out. I really am. Yeah. Well, I got to try and help my Canadian friends sometimes. We may need you guys' help with all that's going on in our government down here. I know your government's having some problems up there. I think maybe both our governments are clashing a little bit with being dumb. So maybe we can help you out with that, sure. Well, I'm going to stick on a play. I got a feeling of some Star Wars, so I'll wait for some questions to come by. I'm going to start up Star Wars again here for anyone who hasn't seen the gameplay on it. So this, for people just joining, this is a Asteroids machine I converted into Star Wars, and this is the yoke. This is the second prototype right here, all metal, which is always good. And I have plenty of coins in here, so I'm going to start it right up.
Good start, then, bud.
And my controls are working very well. Again, there's no gears in this thing. No gears at all. It's all using technology we've used in our other products. There's nothing here that's going to wear out.
I hate to drop that. I don't do anything to do with it.
Oh, you got me up there? I don't think so, Jack.
Good start. I'm going in.
I trust you, Ben. Come on. Whoa!
Yahoo! No market!
It's always nice when you get that Death Star going. Oh, come on, I hit you like 3 times. Of course, you can play this game on the PC, your ColecoVision, your Atari 5200, your Atari 2600, your TI. They made this game for everything. And I did have this on the ColecoVision. It played pretty well.
What you doing to increase the power?
Ah, took me out. But it works pretty well. You played it on the GameCube. I didn't realize they had it on the GameCube. I guess they have everything on the GameCube. Video Game Vegas, hey buddy, how you doing? I'm hoping so. We have a lot more things still planned. Other controllers and other things that will be coming down the pipe this year. My big goal is just really to get a lot of these things out in the hands of you guys. Yes, was it Trendkill 91? Yeah, we're working on a steering wheel shifter and pedals. We're working on a light gun, but that won't be till after we get the Star Wars yoke out. We just got the Tron out. The Tron joystick's been out for about 2 weeks, and the Star Wars yoke is on its way. When I say it's on the way, it's got to be manufactured still, but pretty much the machine is done. And once that is done, we'll be looking at the driver controller and the light guns. I'm not sure if the steering wheel will be out before the light guns. If the light guns will be out for the steering wheel, I have no idea. And also another thing we're going to be working on is like the Archive Warriors. It's a joystick they can click into 8 positions. We want to do something like that as well, because I love those type of games like Frontline. I want to build a Frontline, and I need a proper controller to do that. It's a bonus game in one of the Star Wars Rebel Strike games. Oh, okay, pretty cool. I gotta fix the speaker in my Star Wars. I blew it out. It wasn't a high. Again, Glenn's Retro Show is use everything that I have. I don't buy anything new for the most part. So I had a speaker that wasn't in the best of shape. It was a paper speaker, and I had the volume up too high, and I think I blew it. So I'll have to figure that one out and get that fixed. So we'll stay live another 9 minutes. I think an hour and a half is pretty good, pretty good for a live stream. So we'll be around for another 9 minutes. If you guys have any questions. What's in the Star Wars cab? It is a PC. It's an i5 with only like 8 gigs of RAM, and it's running MAME. I think it's MAME 1.81 on it. However, when I was doing testing the other day, I was testing it on my Raspberry Pi 3, and I think it played better on the Raspberry Pi 3 than this old computer in here. So I may actually pull the PC out and just put my Raspberry Pi 3 in there and go that route. Do I box? I play some Punch Out. That's about it. No carpal tunnel either, or maybe I do and I have no idea. But skinny fingers, they work a lot. A lot of typing, a lot of controls. I'm one of the generation who had what they call the Atari thumb, which later became the Nintendo thumb, which later became the BlackBerry thumb. But it all started with the old Atari. So what do you guys think? So I always wear a hat now in my videos. I mean, I don't want to start blinding people up there, but maybe I can start wearing these hats. So what do you guys think? Look for your opinions. And whether I should tone down this gray, if I should start doing something with that. What do you guys think? Am I getting a little too old, so I start looking a little bit younger? Punch Out is a very good game. A very good game. But it's a Nintendo property, which means you'll probably never see it. Oh, another $5! Oh, that's like $25 to that place already. I have to get a jar. Actually, I'm wearing one of their product hats. I can't even wear their hats probably. This is probably $10. Did I ever pick a front end for my MAME machine? No. For my MAME, I mean, I've used a couple, like Hyperspin and stuff like that, but I don't play a lot of variety of games. I play a lot of the classics, though. You know, your Asteroids, your Space Invaders, Mappy, stuff along those lines. Although I do enjoy some Virtual Racing and was it Arcade USA? Was it Arcade USA? What is that game from Sega? I can't think of it now. The driving game. It's not Arcade USA. Daytona USA. Thank you. Daytona USA. So I do play those, but front end to me, it's a bit of a resource hog. I have no problem putting some stuff in favorites. I'm a little old-fashioned that way. So even on the Raspberry Pi, if I get an image from Arcade Punks, which by the way, I was shocked to see my video posted there on Arcade Punks, man. To me, that's a huge thing. It was over, not Wired Roberto, sorry, it was over Wagner's Tech Talk on his 3D printing machine, and I posted my video over there. And Arcade Punks have been on for years and years and years, and it was just kind of cool seeing them posting my video over there. But even if I get a download something from them, I usually bypass the front end and go right to Emulation Station. The front end to me it's too much overkill. Outrun, yep. Actually, I was doing Outrun on my Wagner's Tech Talk machine and my spinner. So, and the steering wheel. This thing I still love this thing. If I could find another one of my spinners over here somewheres. This, oh, there it is, right here. So, again, Wagner came up with this 3D printed steering wheel, and you take my spinner here, and it goes right on top of it. So you could do driving games, and that's just amazing. That is really cool. And I was playing Outrun and pole position with this steering wheel, and it worked really, really well. So you can use this, for steering, and use the joystick for your gear shifting. But there's still right now a button for your gas and brake, but it's still pretty neat. This 3D printed steering wheel works so well on the spinner. So big kudos over to again Wagner for that. Cruis'n USA, I only played that a couple of times. That was a little bit after I think I was going to the arcades at that point. I'm an old man, so I did see other people playing Cruis'n USA or Cruis'n World, but those games were like voodoo-based, games, and I guess I never got pulled into those because it reminded me too much of just a regular PC playing a game. Night Driver, yes, Night Driver, and Indy 500, but definitely played a lot of Night Driver back in the day. Absolute simple graphics, nothing to it, but it got the point across. And the eye-hand coordination is something you lose as you get older. Okay, we're going to be having to come to short very soon because my battery's about to die. Not plugged in, so I'm going to bid everyone a good night. I hope you have a really good rest of your evening, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. Next time I'll give a little more notice before I do a live stream and try to be more prepared. But I want to thank everyone for joining. I appreciate it. I want you all to have a great night. And my battery's got about 3%, so I got to stop it. So have a great night, everyone. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you again soon. All right, bye. Bye, everyone.